So first two sutras you have finished.
No. 2138, isn't it?
Yes.
Someone said.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And 2138 we finished, I think. Yes, I remember. Kalpana Kodaha, Mukchakramukta, Patita, Patrasta, and so on. Prasada Patita.
Yes, madam. Yeah, that one you have finished last time. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So sir is also joined now. So
Okay.
please you can start.
Hello.
Already you have started. So, sir, ma'am is already
I'm
started.
sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I haven't yet started. Mahesh, I have not.
Yes,
Just
yes, please. Sorry.
If you want to make any introduction or any uh, statement, or tell me if I have to start right away.
Okay.
Yes, I think you can start. Everybody else should mute their microphones. And Talat, I think you have started recording already.
Yes, sir. I have started recording.
Yes.
Please
Okay.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Then thank you. Yeah. Please, madam. So please carry on.
Okay. So 39. स्तोकांतिक दूरार्थ कृच्छ्राणि तेनो स्तोक अंतिक दूर इत्येवम् अर्थाः शब्दाः कृच्छ्र शब्दश्च पंचम्यन्ताः क्तान्तेन सह समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. This is going to be very easy, all these things. So the words are stoka antika dura and also their synonyms. Ityevam arthaha shabdaha, he says. So this is arthena nirdeshaha. So all the synonyms also of stupa antika dura. Kruchra shabdasya and the word kruchra, when they are used in the ablative panchamyantaha, they are compounded with ktanta. Tatpurushesha samasaha bhavati. And the examples are given. Stokan muktaha, and we find aluk. It's not stoko muktaha, but stokan muktaha. I think there is a separate rule for this stokan muktaha aluk samas. Right now I can't find it in my note. Yes, but it is there in Panini's sutras. And therefore we have this samasa stokan muktaha. He was saved by, you can say, by by a margin, by a little less muktaha. Actually in this it is saved, but mukta literally means he was freed. He was escaped. He escaped by a margin. He was freed by less. And then alpan muktaha, he was again freed or emancipated by a little quantity, maybe money or something. Unless we know the context, we cannot say anything. Then we have antikad agataha. So come from near. He has come from near. The one who has come from near or close. Abhyashat agataha means the same. Abhyasha and antika, they are synonyms. Then durad agataha and vipraprushtat agataha mean also, both of them, they mean the same. That is, he who has come from far away or long distance. And kruchrat muktaha, he has returned from a difficult situation. He has come back from some difficult situation. Kruchrat muktaha, kruchrat labdhaha, received with great difficulty. Panchamya stokadibhya, yes, it is mentioned here. Panchamya stokadibhya iti aluk. So there is a separate section for aluk vidhana in samasas, and this rule panchamya stupadibhya belongs to that section. Shata sahasrau parena iti vaktavyam. Shata and sahasra, these are the words, they are compounded with the word para. And since this Vartika is read under 39, Panchami, the context of Panchami is there. So Shatat Pare, Parashyataha. Sahasrat pare. Parassahasraha. So both the compounds are allowed because in the next line he says Rajadantaritvat paranipataha nipatanat sudagamaha. Parashyataha, para and shata. In between these two words we have additional sh, which is the result of the augment so. So becoming sh by a special Paninian rule. So and thus we have Parashyataha. And why there is a change in the order, in the sequence of Purva Pada and Uttara Pada? He says there is a sutra Rajadanta Arishu Param in the second chapter. So Rajadanta Arishu Param means this Upasarjana comes or it appears as the subsequent member in the compound. In Rajadanta, in the words listed in the Rajadantadi Gana, Rajadantaditvat Paranipataha. So Shatat Pare becomes Parashyataha, Sahasrat Pare becomes Parassahasraha. Shatasahasrahu Parena ite Vaktavayam. This is an addition made by Vartikakar. And now we are in Saptami. Suddenly Shashti has disappeared, and probably he will be dealing with Shashti later on. Why, I don't know. There may be some logic behind it, and that we have to find out. Saptami Shaundaihi. Saptamyantam Shaundadivihi Saha Samasyate Tatpurushasya Samasa Bhavati. Shaundaihi is a reference to a Gana. Instead of saying Shaundadibhihi or Shaunda Prabhutibhihi, the word is mentioned in plural, indicating that it refers to a list or Gana. So here is a compound of a word ending in the locative with the words listed in Shaundadi list. And thus we have Aksheshu Shaundaha, Aksha Shaundaha. Shaunda means two things, addicted or intoxicated. This meaning is found in the commentaries on Kashika, whereas Siddhanta Kaumudi renders it or translates it as Pravina, that is skilled. So Aksha Shaundaha means either one who is addicted to the game of dice or one who is skilled in the game of dice. Of course, from the context of the words listed in this list along with Shaunda, it appears that addict is perhaps intended by Panini or by the person who made this list, because the other words are Dhurta, Kitava, etc. Yes, but Pravina also is there. So both the meanings can hold. Then we have Kitava, a cheat, one who cheats in the game of Aksha. So again, the whole context appears to be, at least not the whole, but major, appears to be dealing with the game of dice, as earlier we saw Aksha Chalaka Sankhya Parina. Then we have Pravina, meaning again skilled. Samvita, covered. Literally it means covered or shut in. The illustration is not given. Aksha Samvita, I don't know who is secretly hiding or something in the game of Akshas. Antar. Antar literally means in or within. And he explains the meaning as Antas Shabdastu Atra Adhikarana Pradhanaha Eva Pathyate. The word Antar is listed in this class as having the meaning of Adhikarana as the primary meaning, Adhikarana Pradhanaha. So it conveys the same meaning as that of Adhikarana. That means it conveys the meaning of locative. The example he hasn't given actually here. Padamanjari gives the example. Vane antaha vanantaha. But here vanantaha appears to be a noun, and quite likely it is used as a noun and not an avyaya, because otherwise it would have been included in avyayi bhava compound. But vanantaha actually, if we try to translate it following the instructions or following the interpretation given here, antashabda adhikarana pradhanaha, it would mean in the forest, because antaha is equivalent to madhye. So vanasya madhye, vanantaha. So you cannot say, or perhaps vanasya madhyaha. But that is not clear. Actually, if we strictly want to apply this meaning of antaha to this example vanantaha, then it would mean, according to me, and then someone from you can further explain it. Because when he says adhikarana pradhana, it simply means locative sense is the meaning conveyed by antaha. That is, it means madhye.
May I
And it is an,
ask something here? I mean, so one thing about the meaning, I mean, the word vananta, does it mean something like the interior of the forest? I mean, the inner or deep,
yes,
deep forest, something like this?
it does. Antaha actually means madhye, within,
Yeah.
inside. That is the meaning.
Yeah, but I mean, in that case, the question would be that how can we kind of connect this word with another word in locative? Because if antar itself is a adhikarana pradhana, then can it be compounded with another word in locative? Because this here is, I mean, saptamyantam samasyate.
Yes.
So then what would be the connection? I mean, syntactic relation would be of what kind? So what is?
That question remains, and even the question which I raised also, I didn't find any reply here, because as you say, if it means madhye, we simply cannot connect it with vane madhye. That will be something very strange. Either you will have to make a compound like vanaha madhyam, even then it will not be construed properly. Then in that case, antaha has to be interpreted as not adhikarana pradhana, but simply as pratipadika pratipadhikartha pradhana, conveying the sense of madhya, inside. So inside is the gaud meaning, and inside of course denotes locative sense, in. But then it would mean vanasya madhya would mean interior, as you say, of the forest. But if we take it as adhikarana pradhana, that is exactly my problem. If we take it as adhikarana pradhana, then it simply means madhye, because it has to convey the locative sense. Because that is why I say, if we want to strictly follow the commentary. And I did not find any explanation in the commentaries. I mean, if you have any, whether, I don't know whether Chandra has taken this as an illustration, and then further Panjika is dealing with this. I don't know. But there is no further explanation given here. As I said, Padamanjari at least gives an example. He says, Padamanjarikara says, and I read out, Antashabdaha atra pathyate tad yoge avayavinaha adharatva vivakshayam saptami. Yatha vrukshe shakha iti. So perhaps you got this explanation. Vane antaha, vanantaha. But then again the same problem as I said, vanantaha would mean interior of the forest, but it would not mean in the forest or in the midst of the forest, which would have been the case if we interpret anta as adhikarana pradhan. As you know, in the other case, adhistri, because here adhipatu he says, and Padamanjari says adhishabdah patyate tasya adhikarana pradhanye avyayi bhavaha adhistri iti. So adhistri means regarding the woman, in case of a woman. So here we have a clear reference to the locative. And he says adhikarana pradhanye. Adhishabdasya adhikarana pradhan. And if the same thing is to be applied to antar, then we will have to say in the forest. But in the forest cannot be understood from the word vananta. That is the dilemma for me. Mahesh, do you have any explanation for this? Your question, I know your question still stands because two locatives cannot be counted, cannot be compounded.
Yes, yes.
I agree.
I mean, this Vane Antaha, as Padamanjari explains,
Yes.
that is something. Chintyam.
And he says,
That's Chintyam.
and he says it is adhikarana pradhan.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, I mean, it seems that when he says Vane Antaha, I mean, he takes word Antaha as a avayava. So basically, it's a part of a forest, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but in
Sure,
that
sure.
case, now the question would be then how we can say that it is Adhikarana Pradhan. I mean, there's some kind
That
of a
is,
yeah.
for me, it's a dilemma which I cannot solve. And commentaries did not help me, unfortunately. And therefore, I ask if Chandra refers to this and if Panjika then for that explanation.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see. Maybe Dragomir can have a look in the meanwhile, and we can read further. And if we can find something.
This antar is seen as an indeclinable or a noun. Since it is listed along with words like Shavanda, Itava, Pravina, Samhita, etc., it has to be a Pratipadika. And if it is a Pratipadika, then it cannot be Adhikarana Pradhana. Isn't it? That is the problem. Anyway, instead of being stuck up with this, let's move forward and in the meanwhile try to find out some reply. And actually my appeal to all of you, those who are present here, to find some explanation. Otherwise, Vananta as an Avyay Bhava fits quite well. Vananta, though it's an irregular Avyay Bhava. It would be Antarvanam or Antarvanam if they give this, if they cite this rule, where no Apvana changes into Ana. Yeah, there is a separate rule in the 8th chapter, I remember. Anyway, so we proceed further. Adhipatu, I couldn't find any meaning in the dictionary, but as far as its literal meaning is concerned, probably it means very much skilled, Adhipatu. I don't know how to dissolve this. Adhipatu itself appears to be a compound. Quite skilled, very much skilled. Unfortunately, no illustration given. neither in the text of Kashika nor in the commentaries. On the contrary, commentary gives Adhistri, I don't know why. Adhishabdaha Pathyate, he says. So, does it mean that Adhipatu is an illustration? There must be something missing in the text in that case. As per the text of Padamanjari, it has to be the word Adhi. Adhishabdaha Pathyate. Tasya Adhikarana Pradhanye Avyayi Bhava Adhistri. And why then it has to be included here? He says Adheya Pradhanye hi ayam tatpurusha. So here Adheya, that is Stri, is Pradhana. It's not quite clear. And this all doesn't tally with the text. And unfortunately, yeah, even Nyasa says Adhishabdaha atra pathyate tasya adhikarana pradhanye sati avyayi bhava adhistri adheya pradhanye tu tatpurushaha. And then he gives an example, brahmaneshu adhi brahmanadhinaha iti brahmanadhi shabdaha kevalah na prayuchyate. So brahmanadhi is not allowed. We have to add this suffix kha and then make this adhi into adhina, and then we are allowed to use the word brahmanadhinaha, and then it will become adheya pradhana according to Nyasa. So if at all Chandra gives any explanation, maybe we hope to find some later on. Then till then we will have to keep quiet. Pandita, Kushala, Chapala, Nipuna. The meanings are well known. वृत्तौ प्रसक्ति क्रियायाः अंतर्भावात् अक्षादिषु अधिकरणे सप्तमी. So again the same problem of samarthya bhava between the two words, two padas, as we have already seen. So aksha shaundaha has to be interpreted or dissolved into vigraha as aksheshu prasaktaha shaunda. But in that case, prasakta and shaunda would mean the same thing. Addict or addicted. Both mean the same. Aksheshu prasaktaha dhurtaha. Aksheshu prasaktaha kitava, etc. And in other cases also, if we try to connect them with prasakta, I don't know whether that really would mean anything. Vruttau prasakti kriyayaha antarbhavat aksharishu adhikarane saptami. So this akshadishu adhikarane saptami refers only to when we have a compound with aksha. But I don't think we can have the same explanation in case of adhi or adhipatu, whatever it is, pandita, kushala, etc. In the absence of illustrations, further we cannot say anything more about it. And the same thing happens in Siddhanta Kaumudi. Siddhanta Kaumudi also just gives a couple of examples and keeps silence. And then there is a problem. Then next is 41 Siddha Shushka Pakva Bandhaischa Saptami iti vartate Siddha Shushka Pakva Bandha Ityetaihi Sah Saptamyantam Samasyate Tatpurushascha Samaso Bhavati. So these are the words Siddha Shushka Pakva Bandha. Siddha Sankashya Siddha. Siddha is made, prepared, perfected. Sankashya is the name of a city. So something which is made in Sankash, as we say made in India, made in Japan, made in China, similarly made in Sankash. So something which is a product of Sankash. Kampilya Siddha. Kampilya is yet another name of yet another city or town. Must be very famous for some product. So Kampilya Siddha, made in Kampilya. Shushka, Atapa Shushkaha, dried in the heat. Chaya Shushka, dried in the shade. Sthali Pakwaha, cooked in a pan or a pot. Kumbi Pakwaha, cooked in a small pot. Kumbi. Kumbha is a normal size of pot, and kumbi is a small size of pot. Bandha, Chakra Bandhaha. So again, I wonder if this also is from Buddhist context, as we saw earlier in case of which was that compound I forgot, Kalpana Pudha and Chakramukta, etc. Literally, it means folding together or trying in a circle. Whether it refers to a yogic posture, maybe in some Buddhist kind of meditation, I don't know, or even in some yogic text. Chakrabandha, Chakre Bandha, Chakrabandha.
What kind of word is this bandha? I mean, how would we explain the grammatical formation of this? I mean, this is not a past participle, right? It's not baddha, but
Yes,
bandha.
yes, that's the only word here which is not a tanta. Otherwise, Siddha, Shushka, Pakwa, they are all participles. But Bandha
It's
appears to be Badhyate iti Bandha, Bhav, in the sense of Bhav.
yeah, but then the
So,
question would be when you say chakre bandha, I mean, this is how we'll have to dissolve the compound, right? I mean, chakre bandha. So, yeah. I mean, because one word bandha which we know is like when we say sarga bandha and so on, it's kind of a composition or an arrangement, something like this. So, how to understand this word bandha? I mean, is there any explanation in the commentaries or?
commentary, I didn't find any. That is the problem. So we have just to give our own guess. We have to imagine what it could be. So bandha means some kind of a posture in which something is tied down. Bandha also can be interpreted as in the sense of karman, badhyate asau bandha. So that which is tied together in the form of a circle. So chakra bandhaha dehaha, something like that. It would mean, but unless we have a concrete example from the attested usage, it is very difficult to see. But bandha can mean both bhav as well as karma. This is an answer to your
I mean,
question.
I initially understood it as a like chakra karaha bandhaha or something like this. I mean, something.
Yes. So it will, if it makes sense, it's okay. And that is precisely what I also rendered it.
Yeah, but then it won't be a Saptami Tatpurusha. I mean, that would be the problem.
Chakre bandha. In the form of. Chakre would mean in the form of or in a circle. You know, Saptami, if you interpret Saptami only in the sense of Adharadeya Bhava, then it becomes a problem. But if you take it in the sense of just Vishaya, Adhikarana, Vishayika, then any kind of a Saptami you can accommodate there. So Chakre Bandha, I would rather render it in English as folding in a circle, folding in the form of a circle. Not in a circle doesn't mean within a circle. And suppose we mean folding, we understand it like this, folding in a circle. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Even then it's okay. It all depends on usage.
Yeah.
And unless we have attested usage, we cannot say anything about it, isn't it? Bahula Grahanasyaiva ayam udaharana prapancha. The same thing repeated here. So each and every rule is a prapancha of Kartru Karane Kruta Bahulam. Here also we have examples of all examples of Kruts, Siddha, Shushka, Pakwa, and Bandha. They are all Krutas.
Can we revisit this? I mean, where he uses this for the first time? I mean, in that very rule itself, right? Artu karane kruta bahulam. And why? I mean, how he explains bahulam there? Can we go back? I mean,
Yes, bahulam in the same sense as the kvachit pravrutti, kvachida pravrutti, kvachit vibhasha, kvachid anya deva. He very clearly says there this vyabhichara, sarvopadik vyabhichara bahula grana. So bahula indicates two kinds of possibilities. Either it is applied or it is not applied or it is optionally applied or all the conditions are violated and some other compound like Galechopaka and Padaharataha is found. So it is krut but not kartari karane tritiya. With a krudanda but not with tritiya. So all kinds of violations are included in bahulam. So it's a kind of an umbrella device, as I said earlier. And this is continued in almost all. Pratyaya adhikarta vakshane is also bahulam.
yeah.
Annena bhakshane michrikarana is some precise example, but that is prapancha. And this, which refers to Tritiya Samasa is further extended to Chaturthi, Panchami, and even Saptami here, as the need arises for it. So, by revisiting, did you achieve anything, Mahesh? Any new meaning dawned upon you?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, so I was just wondering, I mean, why he's invoking this again and again. Anyway,
This is
yeah,
very
yeah, just to justify all these different possibilities,
and
right? I mean, not.
yes, when a student like you is sitting in the class and he asks, what is the purpose of this when we have Pratyukarani Kitabhavana? It is not necessary. Siddha Shishka Pakobandha also is not, I mean, this is Saptami, of course. But in case of.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever I mean, in this particular list, I mean, I don't really see that kind of variation. I mean, he hasn't also given any examples of such variation, but sometimes there is a compound is mandatory, sometimes it is not, and so on. I mean, but in all these cases, he's just showing the two possibilities. One is compound and one is non-compound. And this you can simply achieve also by this va or vibhasha adhikar, which we are having. So, yeah, I mean, it seems that tradition seem to have,
I think he
I don't know,
making
or
room,
they feel some problem there.
he is making room for the subsequent generation to make any kind of violation in this rule. So he says you use the rule as you want. Don't just confine yourself to Siddha Shishka Pakwa Bandha, and you can say like take up any other Krudanta and connect it with Saptami, and then you can have a Samasa. Either you can have a Samasa or you can have a sentence. All these things are understood by the word Bahula. Actually,
So in a way, we can take this as an indication saying that the treatment of compound is not comprehensive; it is rather cursory. So I mean, this is probably used to just accommodate whatever is left out. I mean, all that can be accommodated by this use of bahulam here. Yeah.
that is precisely what I said in the last session, and also just I was about to say the same thing here. As I said, I'm not really very happy with this section. I mean, still I say the same thing, and that is mainly because hundreds of other examples are left out. Not only that, but even we don't have good illustrations for each and every word which is mentioned by Panini. So even tradition is not tradition commentaries also find it slightly difficult to interpret because they don't have examples before them. It appears. and therefore they have left quite a few words without giving any examples. Otherwise, a full-fledged commentary like Kashika is supposed to give illustration for each and every word. We don't find it here, unfortunately. We wish Chandra could help us in this matter. But Chandra, it appears as
no, I mean Chandra simply, yes, as we have seen him, he simply forms as Karakam Bahulam. So he actually takes the hint from all this Prapancha discussion in the Paninian tradition, and then formulates the rule in such a way that he doesn't have to kind of formulate all the rule and again in the end had to say that Bahulam. I mean Bahula Prapancha. So
Chandra makes the door open.
पुढच्या स्टेज तो मागचा शहाणा झालेला आहे असं थोडक्यात.
For all samasas, it makes a door open. It's a gateway for all irregularities. Isn't it? Anyway,
yes.
From making comments like this, we really cannot gain much in this case. Shall we proceed then? So, Bahula Grahana Saiva Ayam Udaharana Prapanchaha. Dhvangshena Kshepe. You know, we have to, what they say, we have to pick up good things only from this. Like some nice idioms which existed in Panini's time. That is, I think, some kind of a positive gain from the compound section. So one such gain is this Dhvangshena Kshepe. Dhvangshena iti arthagrahanam. So I really don't know whether Panini intended this kind of arthagrahana. Maybe for Panini Dhvangsha is just the word Dhvangsha. But for the later tradition, it is a synonym. It stands for all its synonyms. So Dhvangsha is a crow. It means a crow. Dhvangsha vachina sah saptamyantam subantam samasyate tatpurushashcha samaso bhavati kshepe gamyamane. So earlier we have seen Kakapeya Nadi. There also kshepo. And here also we have kshepo, contempt, censure to be indicated. So tirthe dhvangshaha. Tirtha dhvangshaha. Tirtha, as you know, is a holy place, or you can say place for holy bathing in Indian context. Because they always are on the bank of a certain river, all tirthas, and they take a holy dip, and then they feel that they have become pious and they have become sinless. So a crow at a holy bathing place, what does it mean? Anavasthitaha ityarthaha. So he is unsteady. See, he is not firm at any particular place. And why does a crow visit a tirtha? He visits a tirtha only to find some lump of maybe rice, some pinda, which he can eat. And once he has that pinda, he moves to another tirtha. And therefore he is anavasthita, he is unsteady. So a similar samasa or a couple of samasas is tirtha kaka, tirtha kakaha and tirtha vayasaha. Shepe iti kim tirthe dhvangshaha tishtati. So it's a straightforward statement of fact. Tirthe dhvangshaha tishtati. A crow is standing, actually sitting, you can say. We always say a cow or a crow is sitting, and in Sanskrit it appears that they are saying it is standing. I don't know whether a crow, when we see it is sitting, whether we can call it sitting or standing. Krutyehi rune saptami iti vartate. Krutya pratyayantaihi sah saptamyantam samasyate. Now here the sequence has changed. Krutya pratyayanta comes. Oh no, it's okay. The same thing. Krutya pratyayantaihi sah saptamyantam samasyate. So again the same thing as kartur karane krita bahulam or krutyehi adhikartha vachan. But the context is quite limited here. Rune gamyamane. and Runa is debt or loan. And further compression of the context is in the next sentence, yat pratyayena iva ishyati. So among the krityas, it is only yat, the suffix tavya, anir, all these suffixes, they are ruled out, and it's only yat which is allowed to be compounded. So with these two limitations, we have compound like masedeyam runam, masadeyam, a debt which is to be repaid in a month. Masedeyam, mase actually pratideyam it has to mean. Masedeyam, mase pratideyam. It has to be repaid within a month. Similarly, samvatsaredeyam, which is to be repaid in a year. Triyahadeyam also, within 3 days. Runagrahanam niyogopalakshanartham. So again the word runa, in order to extend the scope of the compound, it appears that the commentators try to reinterpret the word runa, give it a wider context. And therefore runa doesn't stand for debt alone, but it is an upalakshana, it is a indication of niyoga. Niyoga literally means an injunction or an order, and further it also means some kind of an obligation. So whenever there is a kind of an injunction, maybe it comes from the judge of the court or it comes from a king, then you have to follow it without fail, and then it's a kind of an obligation. So all such obligations are included in this compound. Obligations means you must do it. And therefore we have a samasa like Purvahna Geyam Samaha. Purvahne Geyam, Purvahna Geyam. So it's a reference to a saman which is to be necessarily recited in the forenoon. So two kinds of obligations are there. It must be recited and it must not be recited in the afternoon or in the evening. It must be recited in Purvahna only. Similar another example is Prataradhyeyo Anuvakaha. Anuvak. Actually, it is something which is to be anujyate, which is to be recited after. So that portion of Veda which is to be recited again and again is called Anuvaka. Prataradhyeya Anuvaka. Anuvaka which must be recited in the early morning. Runa iti kim mase deya bhiksha. So for bhiksha, number one, bhiksha is not something related to debt, and number two, it is not niyoga. It is not compulsion on anyone that he should give alms. So mase deya bhiksha is just, maybe someone can give it within a month or in a month. Saujñayam. Saujñayam vishaye saptamyantam supasah samastate. This masedeya bhiksha, there is no compounding. Otherwise, it could have some Buddhist context because Buddhist monks go for alms. Saujñayam vishaye saptamyantam supasah samastate tat purushishcha samaso bhavati. So again, locative word compounded with any word supasah samasate. So here no context of any particular word, no context of tanta, etc. So any word, but again narrowed down to saujña. Saujña, proper name. And here he defines the word saujña, or he explains it as saujña samudayopadhi. Saujna is a property not of any one of these components, but it is a property of the whole collection or the group of both the words in the compound. Samudayopadhi tena nitya samasaha eva ayam. So whenever we have a Saujna samasa, it is always a nitya samasa, because then only it can be a Saujna. And he further explains nahi vakyena Saujna gamyate, and that we have already seen. A sentence can never be used as a Saujna, and we can never understand it as a proper name. So Aranye Tilakaha might have originally meant wild sesame, but then it is now used for a particular kind of sesame, Aranye Tilakaha. Aranye Mashaha. Similarly, originally maybe wild beans, but now it's a name of a particular type of mashas, beans. And Vane Kimshukaha, forest Kimshukas. Kimshuka is the name of a tree. I don't know the non-Indian counterpart of it. But Kimshuka is a tree which is not really very much liked by others, because the flowers, they don't give any fragrance at all. So it stands in the forest. The only notable thing about it is that it gives red colored flowers, but no fragrance, and therefore people are not much happy with it. I mean, as it is used in Sanskrit literature. I remember in one prahasana they have referred to this word Kimshuka, and then some lover is asking his beloved to embrace him. Alinga mom, he says, and she says, Gaccha Kimshukam Alinga. So Kimshuka is something, a despicable kind of tree. Vane Bilvakaha. Forest Bilwas. Bilwa, as you know, is a medicinal plant. Also has something to do with ritual practice. Its leaves, they are offered to God Shiva. Vane Bilvakaha. Upe Pishachakaha. Pishacha is a goblin or a ghost. So there must have been Pishachas, goblins in the wells, well-known stories about them in ancient times. In all these compounds, we find again Aluk, Aranye Tilakaha, Aranye Mashaha, etc. And that is explained by the Paninian rule, Haladantat Saptamyaha Saujnyayam. Halantat Adantat Ch Parasyaha Saptamyaha Aluk Bhavati Saujnyayam Dyotyayam. When a Saujnya is to be conveyed, a look of the locative case takes place according to this. Ktena ahoratravayavaha. Aharavayavaha ratriavayavascha saptamyantaha tantena sah samasyanti. So again, I want to share my observation with you is that in most of the compounds, perhaps I might have told in the last session, in most of the compounds, the latter member is a participle. It is either